Hey everybody, my name is Paul Esden Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. We're streaming live right now in 3 different places. Facebook on the Jet Zone, my YouTube channel, as I just said, and on my Twitter account at BoyGreen25, scrolling ticker with all the info. All right, everybody, Jet fans, good morning here on a Sunday. We've got some juicy nuggets to dabble into, and let's do it. It was an interesting column from Rich Cimini, who covers the New York Jets for ESPN this morning. He's been covering the Jets for over 30 years, and he reiterated a couple of interesting points that should have Jet fans going, very interesting, making you think about what possibly could potentially be. I will also say this, a couple of quick shout outs here as people are joining the live chat, joining the room, wherever you're watching. Again, we're streaming in 3 different places: Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. No matter where you are, you could drop a question, comment, topic of interest, or what have you in the comment section, and StreamYard will put it right there for me so I can interact with each and every one of you. Also, guys, if you can, please hit the thumbs up button on YouTube and hit subscribe. New York Jets content all day, every day. And a quick plug, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., John Ledyard, who covers the NFL Draft for Pewter Report, a great guy. He'll be joining me at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning to talk Jets draft and all that fun stuff. So again, big time guest, fun live streams. It's always a good time here on youtube.com/BoyGreen25. But let's get into this here, and this is the Rich Cimini nugget. Again, Rich Cimini covers the New York Jets for ESPN, and he's been doing it for over 30 years. This morning, in his Sunday morning column that dropped at 6 a.m., he said that A.J. Brown is, quote, the name to watch for potential trade conversations. I'll give you all the nuggets, and we can get to some of your comments and all of that jazz. Again, we all know the Jets have been aggressive throughout this entire offseason of pursuing a wide receiver. They did their homework on Amari Cooper. They did their homework on Robert Woods. They did their homework on Tyreek Hill, obviously, so much so that they were this close to getting the deal done. And they were even very public about it at the NFL owners meetings that, hey, we tried, we picked up the bat, and we swung as hard as we possibly could to try to bring Tyreek Hill to the New York Jets. They've been pretty open about that throughout it. And the interesting thing coming off the NFL owners meetings is Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas said, yeah, we missed and we wanted it, but the offseason isn't done yet. They used all those kind of quotes and conversations to say, hey, whoa, we're not done yet. Just because we missed out on Tyreek Hill doesn't mean we're done. So again, the aggressive personality, the aggressive answers, all of that was still very prevalent at the NFL owners meetings with Joe Douglas and both Robert Saleh, which again, I found incredibly fascinating. So here are the nuggets from Rich Cimini. Again, he said that the Jets will continue to monitor the wide receiver market, and they have, even since missing on Tyreek Hill. Specifically, the name to watch is Tennessee Titans wide receiver A.J. Brown. Now, one of the reasons you may be asking yourself, why the heck would the Titans, who were the #1 overall seed in the playoffs last year for the AFC, why the heck would they trade their 24-year-old star wide receiver? Well, according to Rich Cimini, you have to watch out for the Titans' quote tight cap situation. And it is true. For this year, the Titans have the 3rd lowest cap space available of any team in the NFL with just over $2 million. Now, keep that in mind for the Titans' tight cap situation, as Rich Cimini noted here in the conversation. And if you really think about it, because again, you would say, why would the Titans still give up a really good piece? The Chiefs just did it with Tyreek Hill, who's a more proven, more dangerous, more dynamic wide receiver in every definition of the word. And they were willing to give up Tyreek Hill, and they aren't folding or pretending or what have you. They're going to keep trying to compete and win. Perhaps the Titans, if they chose to go this direction to try to save some money, okay, that they could immediately use that 10th overall pick on a Ryan Tannehill quarterback replacement. There's been some rumors about that. Or maybe they go get that wide receiver, perhaps, on the Tennessee Titans side. So that's, again, from Rich Cimini. And again, as I said, the tight cap situation is just over $2 million. They have the 3rd lowest cap space in the league. Now, A.J. Brown is 24 years old. He will be 25 by the start of the 2022 season. He's due a big money deal. And according to Rich Cimini, that contract will be at least $25 million per year on a brand new deal. So that is obviously going to be very pricey for whoever potentially trades for A.J. Brown here if he ultimately is traded. And he did send some pretty cryptic tweets coming up just a little bit ago when he said some stuff I will never understand, and maybe it's not meant for me to understand it. And again, whether or not that has anything to do with his current situation with the Titans is still TBD. But however, there are some interesting nuggets there. And also, guys, another reminder is I'm seeing more and more people jump into the room. Again, you can jump in the comments section and get involved on the show. Let's go over. We've got Jay-Z Jet fan. Hey, buddy. What's popping, Jay-Z? Love the profile picture, by the way. Very nice. Very nice. And I would trade the 10th for AJ, no question. And that is the other piece of this conversation that Rich Cimini noted, that the centerpiece of a deal that the Titans would be interested in if they were to trade A.J. Brown, and there's a lot of smoke around this potentially, is that the 10th overall pick would be the piece. And this is where we get to the next piece of the conversation, because Jet fans, all of us out there, right? We've seen what Adam Schefter tweeted out, the Jets trade offer, which again, they would give up 35, 38, 69. That's 2 second-round picks and a third-round pick. And they would have gotten Tyreek Hill and a late third. So it would have been a swap of thirds. So really, even if you want to wipe that off the board, you would have gotten 2 high seconds, and that would have gotten Tyreek friggin' Hill. So I think a lot of Jet fans have said, well, that's the package then for any receiver, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, whoever your guy is, the package is going to be what we just talked about. It's going to be 2 2s and a 3. That's what we're willing to do. And a lot of people have said Joe Douglas would never trade a first rounder. However, at the NFL owners meetings, he was asked a hypothetical question by Connor Hughes. Would you be willing to move one of your first round picks for the right offer? And Joe Douglas didn't outright say no. Instead, he said, well, we're talking hypotheticals here. It would depend on the player, but we're open to any package. And that, of course, leads to 10th overall pick, which Rich Cimini says the Titans or Seahawks in any potential deal would want back in return. And I will be honest, as we're about to go through some of these questions and topics here, personally, I think 10's a little rich for both DK and AJ. However, while I think it's rich, it would be very pricey because if you think about it, you're not only just trading for a player, so you've got to give up an asset, but they're immediately getting a big money deal. Either receiver, from what we understand, DK or AJ Brown, would command at least $25 million per year in a new multi-year deal, which is going to be, again, 150 million, something, not 150 million, but it's going to be like 125 million for a 5-year deal with crazy guarantees. And that would put them in the upper echelon, top 4 highest paid wide receivers in football. Because right now you got Tyreek Hill at 30 million a year, Devontae Adams at 28 million a year, DeAndre Hopkins about 27.5. And then whoever that receiver would be would fit 4th on that list. So again, while that's a lot to give up immediately, that's a better receiver than you're going to get in the draft, so that's good. They're not even entering their prime yet. Again, DK's 24, AJ Brown's 24. DK's younger. He just turned 24 in December. AJ Brown would turn 25 before the start of the season. So again, you're still getting a guy who's not even in his prime yet, and wide receiver is finished. And if you traded the 10th overall pick in this hypothetical scenario for AJ Brown, or even DK Metcalf for that matter, wide receivers off the board, you still have a first-round pick and 2 second-round picks. Most teams, bare basic, average, have 1 pick per round. They have a first, a second, a blah, 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 blah. Even if the Jets trade the 10th overall pick, they'd still have more than what the common team would have. So to me, that's somewhat tantalizing. Again, I think it's a little rich, but sometimes you got to risk it to get the biscuit. So when you have an opportunity like this to trade for a proven player like this, I think sometimes you got to bend on your principles. So like I said, while I think it is a little rich, it's A.J. Brown, though, or DK Metcalf, if that's the one that's going to be. And to be honest with you, I thought DK Metcalf, if one was going to happen, projecting here, I thought DK Metcalf made the most sense. Again, the Seahawks seem to be in some sort of a rebuild. Tennessee obviously doesn't seem to be that way, at least from the outside looking in. It seems like Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, they're trying to win right now. So Seahawks, it makes sense that they'd want to hit the eject button. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's go to Big Green here. There he is, Boy Green the GOAT. Yes, sir. Appreciate the love, baby. Harold H. I would only trade 10 if getting back some type of third back. Then can still package picks and move back into the first. I think even still, just think about it. Even if you trade 10 and get nothing back, you have 35, 38, 69. That's plenty of ammunition to get back into the first. But I like how you're thinking. If there's a way to give up 10, which again is point-wise very similar to 35, 38, 69, very similar package. If you guys don't know that for the draft value chart, but I'd be all for obviously getting like a third back or something. And I'm sure Joe Douglas would fight for that. So I'm all about that. That is phenomenal. And Big Green echoing those same sentiments, 10, and they got to give us more. Again, I'm open to that. I'm open to that. Devin Maxwell just did a mock draft on PFF, number 10 for Titans, 26 and 131. Yes, and then like AJ Brown would have to be somewhere in there. So they obviously wouldn't do that kind of swap. Maybe that's a potential package. So they do, like AJ Brown 26 to jump up to 10, and then the Jets give him like 69 or something. I don't know. It's a more complicated deal. I'd have to kind of think that through, but maybe they'd be willing to do that. I'm not sure. I'm sure they just want the first round pick straight up. I think 35 and 38 are too valuable. I'll say this, Big Green. I love the draft. And you guys are going to, for new subscribers, again, feel free to hit the subscribe button. We're rising quick. Before we start the stream, we're at 1.24. I'm trying to get to 2K, baby, before the draft, which is later this month. We're going to have a lot of fun stuff till then. So, Jet fans and everybody, make sure you hit subscribe and tell a friend. Show your support. So, I love the draft, and new subscribers are going to find that out as they're coming on. Old subscribers already know this. I'm looking forward to them hopefully keeping 35 and 38, although I'd be cool with a blockbuster deal because I love going into day 2. I like when day 1 ends, we reset the board. We'll do a live stream, talk about who's still available in the Jets draft and all that. And then going into day 2, where all those great first-round prospects typically slip into the second round, I think they're incredibly valuable. But again, the right offer, the right deal, I'd be open to it. I'd certainly be open. And let's bring this up. And before I even say this, the Bean Apple. I joined this show last week. And folks, if you can show support for my channel, show support for this channel, a channel that's up and coming. I joined the show. It was fantastic. I haven't even read their comment yet, but they're fantastic. So go subscribe, go check them out. The Bean Apple. It was awesome joining their show, and I think everyone needs, a hand to kind of help them up, try to, support each other. That's what I hope a lot of us do on this Jets YouTube. There's great guys like Matt O'Leary, Green Bean, 24/7 Jets, like, Jets Media, all these guys, Jake Asman, so many. Like, let's support each other and, support local. So please shout out to the Bean Apple if you guys can. Morning, brother. Hell yes. Pull the trigger on AJ. He's great friends with Moore, so they could stick around for their career. He's better than any wide receiver in this draft. I agree with that. And also, Corey Davis. He's former teammates with Corey Davis from their Tennessee Titans days. So there's a lot to like. He obviously has a great relationship with Elijah Moore. He's super talented. There has been a couple of injuries, but overall, the production is insane. So 100%. I'd be all for it. He's a young, ascending receiver. Big Green, 35 at 6'9", preferably. If they would do that, I don't think they would, but I like where your head's at, Big Green. Again, if you can trade, the less you can trade it for, the more I'm signing up for it. But again, takes 2 to tango. Okay on YouTube. No trade for a wide receiver. Draft your own talent on a rookie contract. This is the argument because, again, if you trade for like DK Metcalf, not Elijah Moore, we have him. If you trade for DK Metcalf or AJ Brown, you immediately have to pay them big money deals. Draft your own talent. And, okay, if this happens, I'm going to be excited. A sexy pick is drafting wide receiver in the first round. Again, Drake London, Traylon Burks, Garrett Wilson. I love all that. Jameson Williams is the dark horse, by the way. I love all these guys. And if they draft him, all of us are going to rush to NFLshop.com to buy that jersey because it's sexy. First-round receiver. That's great. And I will hate it. But here's my counter to your point, okay? Okay. My counter is this. If you draft a rookie outside of the Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and whoever else has had an immediate pop in their first year, it doesn't normally happen. There's some level of transition. Again, take Elijah Moore as your example, right? Like, he lost the entire preseason due to injury. He lost the back end of the season because of injury. And it took him a while. He wasn't Elijah Moore right off the get-go. It took him like middle of the season. And I don't think that's great for Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson doesn't need a guy to help him out in the middle of the season. He needs a guy that can help out right now. And an A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, whoever has a super high floor, you know exactly what they are. Sure, they got to learn the offense, chemistry, camaraderie. But as you've seen, Zach Wilson's traveling the goddamn countryside, getting chemistry, camaraderie, and all that stuff going on. So getting a guy like that is, the pro-con conversation is sure. Drafting your own talent is super cheaper, but you get a less proven player. Vice versa, you pay a little more, but here's the argument to that, okay? And then pay your own talent, draft your own talent. Zach Wilson is on his rookie contract right now. You can afford to do crazy shit like this now. Okay, when you got to pay Zach Wilson in a hopefully perfect world, right? He's so good you're paying him. So 120, 150 million crazy contract, you're not going to be able to afford to do crazy stuff like this. So I think you need to take advantage of the moment, risk it to get the goddamn biscuit. I think that's key. So, okay, you make a very compelling argument. No trades. Draft your own guy, rookie contract, cheap, and cheap for many years to come. Again, 5 years, perfectly fifth year CBA and all that jazz. I think there's a very strong case to be made why to trade for a veteran, and especially now with Zach Wilson. Big Green, Vontae Mack, no matter what, baby. Again, I love Draft Day. Love Draft Day. One of the greatest movies of all time. Kevin Costner. So much great. So much great. I love the cast. I love the movie. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. All right, let's see. Ryan Remington, 10 for DK and draft a wide receiver like Mechie with 69. That's possible. And that's another thing. I don't know. Actually, the one thing I would say to this is I'm not sure if they go DK at 10, they would follow up a receiver at 69. The one way I could see them double dipping is if you draft like a Jameson Williams at 10, who's injured and should be back for training camp, but anything can happen with injuries. You draft another receiver in the mid rounds to cover up anything that could be lost at the beginning. That's what I could see. But if you're doing DK and you finish wide receiver in theory, I think all those other positions are going to be like edge rusher, corner, offensive line. Like those are where the picks are going to go. So Ryan, interesting point, but I don't think they double dip at wide receiver like that. Because again, think about it. You have Elijah Moore, Corey Davis. You would have DK, let's just say, Braxton Berrios. Where the hell is Mechie playing? Like I just feel like that would be an embarrassment of riches in the wrong way. Jets have too many needs to use that kind of luxury. But I like the take. King Blaze, remember the greatest show on turf? Jets with AJ could be the Ole Miss touchdown show, and I'd be all about that, baby. Because again, that's a lot of the things I love. So AJ Brown is a proven player, Pro Bowler. That's great, and all of the stats are phenomenal. But again, you think about the Elijah Moore connection, how close they are. Watch the draft day video if you guys haven't seen it. I think I shared it on the last article last week about all these AJ Brown rumors about them crying and hugging each other and how much they mean to each other. They literally text every day. That's the truth. And then Corey Davis are all teammates. So I think there's just a natural chemistry in the wide receiver room, which, of course, Zach Wilson could take advantage of. So give me the Ole Miss touchdown show, baby. That would be great. NFL Chaos with Jeremy, another great show on YouTube. The Titans are not trading AJ unless they're very stupid. It's a no-brainer for us. Again, yes, I would say from the get-go, when these first rumors came a couple weeks ago, I thought that it was weird that it was even available because, again, the Titans were the number one seed in the AFC last year. They still have Ryan Tannehill. They have Derrick Henry. Like, why would they trade him? It doesn't make sense. They do have limited cap space this year, but what they could do if they wanted, if they signed him to a long-term deal, they could make his base for this year super low, and then the cap hits would come in the future when they move on from the Tannehill contract. So if they were smart, which I imagine they are, they would do that. So while Rich Cimini, in his article and the whole breadth of this show and the article that I wrote is about Titans tight cap situation, which is true. They do have a tight cap situation, only $2 million right now, but you can work your way around that. The cap is a myth. The cap is, a magical being, so they could figure it out. So it would be an absolute no-brainer for us. My number one target would be DK Metcalf. I think, again, their situation feeds into it. Like Drew Lock is his quarterback. I mean, come on, people. Ryan Tannehill, who actually has proven himself quite capable, obviously, and very competent the last couple of years. I just feel like they're in different places. The Titans are trying to compete right now. Seahawks clearly aren't. So I think you bring up a very good point, NFL Chaos with Jeremy. But it's interesting that Rich keeps bringing it up. Like, he keeps bringing it up. And he brings it up so much, and I'm like, maybe I'm seeing something he's not. Why would he keep saying this? Just for clicks? I don't think so. I don't think so. So it's kind of interesting. JC Jets fan, wouldn't it be a JD move to trade for an elite edge and not a wide receiver? He has proven numerous times the media has no idea what they're talking about. So that could be possible, certainly. But who is that edge then? Danielle Hunter made the most sense, but he just got this monster $18 million bonus. So he's off the table. I love when they trade for someone that you have no idea, like Tyreek Hill as an example, right? We had no idea he was going to be traded. And then all of a sudden he's randomly in trade talks. We're like, whoa, mamacita, what the heck happened here? So, that's possible, but I don't know who that edge rusher is. I think that is a high need. They were trying to go after my boy Chandler Jones, who I told you on the show weeks ago, people, they'd have interest in, but everyone crapped on old boy Green. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, apparently I do, folks. But anywho, I digress. Pat myself on the back for that one. Huh? Okay, appreciate that. Also, guys, and I'm seeing all the questions. I'm going to try to get to all of them. One way to guarantee that you get your question answered here on YouTube is make sure you do a super chat. You pay a quick little number, and then you jump up and you skip all these people in line. People do that at the amusement parks, right? The go-go pass, and they jump everyone in line. So you can feel free to do that. That's called a super chat on YouTube. So feel free to jump in, super chat with either comments or stickers. That's a new thing here on YouTube for the channel. But I'll try to get to all of these if I can. I love having this live chat here on a Sunday morning. This is great. Okay, let's see. Brian Farrell, get the wide receiver now, double dip on defense. I love that, especially if you could get your star receiver, because that would have been the plan. If the Jets got Tyreek Hill, then all of a sudden you could go like KT and Sauce with the top 2 picks in the first round. Then booyah, you're doing pretty nice. But in these scenarios, we're probably talking about moving one of the first round picks, but you could still, double dip a defense, kind of improve that. That would be something I'm definitely for. Kev_Chata, Jets Lounge on Twitter had Senior Bowl director, ex-cornerback Michael Coe and Damian Woody both raved about JJ over KT. Got to check it out. Will do for sure. I will say I've just spoken with Michael Coe, so we're hoping to have him on a future mock draft Monday. We had Damian Woody on our channel a couple weeks ago. Guys, feel free to check that out. The interview's still juicy. Again, I am a KT guy over JJ. I will say this. I always have an open mind for prospects, and I can change based on what people tell me. Right now, I'm Kayvon Thibodeau over JJ. I don't think that's going to change. I've been that way for months. I'm going to stay on that train. We did have Leger Duzable, another JJ guy, on the show. That was this past Monday. So he gave a good take. Guys, feel free to check out the video. It's on our playlist, Path to the 2022 NFL Draft. So some really, really cool stuff there. But I love Kayvon Thibodeau. I just think he's going to be a superstar. And I think when you pair him with Saleh, with that first step, that's nasty, man. That's nasty. He could be a freak in the NFL, I think. What's up, Jeffrey? Hey, Paul. Yes, sir. NFL Chaos with Jeremy. Jameson Williams is the best chance of getting a Tyreek Hill type of player. Best chance, don't think I'm saying it will happen. Same thing I said last week, and also wrote an article about it last week for Heavy on Jets. Again, I am also, for folks just joining, the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com, and, of course, diehard Jets fan, Boy Green. You can see it behind me right there, old Boy Green. I wrote about this last week. I think if they're going for a type, everyone has a type, right? Big, fat, small, wide, whatever. If they're looking for that speed demon, that cheetah, again, no one's Tyreek Hill, but if you're looking for the Tyreek Hill type, I think Jameson Williams out of Alabama would do that. He looks like he's progressing nicely through training and rehab. He could be, as I've said for, last week and a half, could be the, quote, dark horse pick for the New York Jets with the 10th overall pick. You heard it here first. Charles Florio on YouTube. 2 upgrades at wide receiver and more, taking some pressure off. Marvelous. Yeah, that'd be a great triplets for Zach Wilson. One of the most dangerous triplets in the entire NFL. That would be phenomenal. Let's keep going here. Okay, let's see. Harold H. The reason I would need something in return for 10 is immediate need for a new contract. And if AJ, you also need to hedge against injury, he gets banged up. So that has to be considered. Of course it does. And yes, that's why I've said from the get-go that 10 was always too rich for DK, AJ, or whoever, because, again, of the immediate contract pay. But again, in this kind of competitive field with one of the craziest NFL offseasons of all time, I think sometimes you got to pay a little bit more. And I think you're going to have to in these scenarios, because, of course, who wouldn't want DK or who wouldn't want A.J. Brown, like the Chiefs, the Packers, and all these teams that are willing to, they'd give up a first-round pick and go, we don't care. So the Jets have to compete against that, so you have to keep that in mind. Let's see. Draft or free agency. Let's go. Again, a lot of time between now and the draft for sure. Jake Klein, Garrett Wilson. I like Garrett Wilson a lot. I think he's a very talented player. I've heard him commonly compared to CeeDee Lamb, who's one of my favorite players coming out of the draft within the last couple of years. So Garrett Wilson is good. Out of the wide receivers, real quick, the ones I like Jameson Williams. I like Drake London. I like Garrett Wilson. I love Treylon Burks. Out of the 4 of the 5 guys, the other guy is Chris Olave, who I'm less okay with. The other 4 I love. If the Jets drafted any one of those guys, I'd be through the moon. I'd be over the moon. It would be phenomenal. I think there is a lot of juiciness there. So Garrett Wilson's pretty cool. Stick to the plan and draft the cleanest wide receiver prospect in Garrett Wilson. I would not be opposed to that, Jake. Love the comment here. Welcome to the channel. I don't think I've had you on the channel before, so love the support, pal. Garrett Wilson would be interesting. I think my favorite, though, it's close. It's close because again, they're just different types. It's not like one is far superior than the other. Like Drake London, this big body. Again, I see this Brandon Marshall physical catch guy, which I love. Jameson Williams, again, that speed burst, explosives down the field, which I love. And Traylon Burks, that thick dude, that thick body, kind of chest piece, move all over the place. And Garrett Wilson is tasty too, man. Very tasty. Very nice. Up, we've got a super chat, everybody. Let me skip all the way down here. We got a lot of comments here. NFL Chaos with Jeremy, $4.99. Congratulations on 1,000 subs. You could have hit it ages ago if that was your goal. You're a legend, my friend. NFL Chaos with Jeremy, thank you so much, brother. Thanks for the support on the channel, of course. Check out NFL Chaos with Jeremy on YouTube. And guys, if you'd like to, again, jump in line as NFL Chaos just did, feel free to super chat. That's this big, colorful blob down here. It's really cool. And you show support for the channel. It allows me to do even more cool things. So just scheduling awesome guests and all over the place, and appreciate it. YouTube, actually, I've only been on YouTube for a very small time, maybe 2 years, and we've only really ramped up the last little bit. So we were, like I said, before the stream, I don't know what we're at now, but 1.24 thousand subscribers. I want to get to 2K, baby, 2K before the draft gets here. So if you guys can, hit subscribe, give a thumbs up on the YouTube video, that makes a huge difference. And if you can do that, that would be amazing. So really show your support. I appreciate it, guys. This is awesome. All right, let's go back up here. We've got Charles Florio. Risk it for the biscuit is certainly a valid argument, especially when Wilson is more green. 100%. That's how I view it. If you're going to be aggressive, now is the time to do it with Zach Wilson, his rookie contract, and the development of Zach Wilson. I mean, adding an A.J. Brown, adding a DK Metcalf, like, come on, baby. That'll bring some juice. That'll bring some chutzpah, some mustard on this sandwich, if I may, which I love. Oh, Jake, come on, man. Draft day was actually awful. Here's the thing. Real quick on this random draft day diatribe, apparently. The people that don't like draft day, in my experience, are a couple of things. First off, they're a super nerd of the draft like me, but the kicker is they don't like the draft value. They'll be like, oh, wow, that doesn't make sense. I'll tell you this. When I go watch a movie, I suspend my disbelief at the door. So I'm not going to say, well, that doesn't make sense. He wasn't wearing a scarf in scene 2. Like, again, for me, draft day, okay, everybody. What I try to do is just suspend the disbelief at the door and just enjoy the movie. I think that's what everyone should be doing. Again, that's how you should be doing it. Okay, I believe we got another super chat in here. Beautiful. Let's go to Tony. How does A.J. Brown or DK Metcalf compare with the top 5 wide receivers in this draft? Again, guys, if you want to jump to the front of the line, you could super chat. So, Tony, awesome, man. Way to support the channel. Thank you so much, everybody. This is amazing. So how does A.J. Brown or DK Metcalf compare with the top 5 wide receivers in this draft? And I'm assuming we're not going to do the Mel Kiper version of this. And what I mean by that is say, hey, here was their draft profiles before to what they are now. Because, of course, both A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf, interestingly enough, both went in the second round of their respective drafts. So it's like impossible to compare them to these guys who are all projected to be first-round picks. And they're going to go somewhere in that 8 to 25 range, these 5 receivers, and some combination or other. Could go as early as Atlanta, who obviously needs help with the Calvin Ridley situation, all the way back to Packers, New England, and some of those teams that are kind of in the – and then Kansas City, which is a little further back from that standpoint. But how do they compare? I mean – to be honest, it's like apples to oranges. It's hard to even compare them, honestly, Tony, because like these are just proven players that have found their way. Now, some people may look at the A.J. Brown or DK Metcalfs of the world and say, hey, those were second-round picks. Why the heck don't we just draft their own second-round pick guy, Elijah Moore, or another guy this year, and we'll be juicy. We'll be fine. Why the hell should we do it? And you can make that argument. But the fact of the matter to me is I want proven guys that already know it. DK Metcalf is massive, 6'4", 230 pounds, 4'3", 40. Like he's got all the measurables. And A.J. Brown is this super impressive dude that contested catches and just, man, same thing for DK, by the way. A lot of contested catch guys, a big physical, brutish wide receiver. So I'm trying to answer the question, Tony, but I really don't even think they can. Again, I like the other 5 wide receivers, relatively speaking. Chris Olave, again, I'm a little bit lesser on. I love Drake London. I think he's a freak. I love Jameson Williams, even though with the injury, so that's a factor, of course. Traylon Burks, I love, even with the less than spectacular athletic numbers that came out during testing. And so I said Drake London, Jameson Williams, Who else am I missing there? So we got Jameson, we got Traylon Burks, we got Drake, Garrett Wilson is the other one I forget. So Garrett Wilson's very good too. It's just hard to compare him, quite frankly. But that's the cost. If you want to boil it down to that level, which you can, Tony, is saying if the 10th overall pick is going to be a receiver no matter what, then why not just trade the 10th overall pick for a proven guy as opposed to a rookie? So I guess you could certainly do that as well. But thank you so much for the super chat. Again, that's this blob right here. You jump in line. I see we have like hundreds of questions in here, which I'm trying to get to as many as possible. So if you want to jump the line, super chat me up, baby. This is phenomenal here on YouTube. Okay. Trying to jump back to wherever we were before. We may just be kind of lost here. Like I said, the super chats jump the line. Oh, yes, Big Green Draft Day watch party. Let's make it happen, baby. I love Draft Day. Yes, that's beautiful. I'm kind of going to jump around here now. Let's see. Wilson is the best route runner in this draft. Never drops the ball. Okay, I love the comment. Yeah, he is very good. I don't want DK because his route running is questionable. Jacked up Mike Wallace did nothing with Geno Smith. Actually, that's not true. If you look at some of the DK Metcalf numbers, he actually did very well with Geno Smith, including he had that like 75-yard touchdown on one of the first Geno Smith games that he ended up getting the whole week of practice. So I'm going to aggressively push back on that one. Let's see. Terry McLaurin was a shocker. He turned out this well, which has also been in some trade conversations. All the players that are entering those final years of rookie contracts, those are the guys that have been involved in some of those conversations. Let's see. Terry better than DK and AJ Brown. I'm not quite on that train. I think Scary Terry's pretty good, though. I don't think he's quite on that. And Matt Morris, me and you together, baby. I am KT over Hutch any day and all day of the week, 100%. Let's see. Tony Scara, how about 35 and 69 for AJ Brown? Again, as Jets people in this chat, we're cool with it. I don't think there's any way in hell that Tennessee would be. If they're going to do it, they're going to be like overpaid, essentially, with the 10th overall pick, something that can immediately help them. They won't do it for what amounts to be a second or a third round pick. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, we got another super chat here. Wow, we are going crazy, people. I love it. Okay, so another question, jumping the line. Again, that's what you could do, people. Super chat. Shout out to A. Mitch. Thank you for the super chat, baby. How important is the linebacker position for the Jets, in your opinion? I think we should take one in the second round. Thoughts. Thanks, Boy Green. Appreciate the love, baby. And make sure this is a quick reminder, everybody. Make sure you hit the thumbs up on the YouTube video. Even if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, where we're also streaming live right now, open up a new tab, jump over to YouTube, show your support. Again, thumbs up on the video, hit subscribe, and let's go. Trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the NFL draft. But A. Mitch, again, super chat. You guys can jump the line and make sure I answer your question. How important is the linebacker position? This is one of those, A. Mitch, where the fans and the team are not in sync, okay? The team believes that linebacker's not that big of a deal. They like C.J. Mosley. They like Quincy Williams. And they believe that Hamza Nasser-Lardine, Jamie and Sherwood, and that combination of dudes is going to be able to fill that will position at linebacker, and they're going to be fine. That's what they believe from everything I've gathered. The fans, of course, they look at the same thing and say, well, C.J. Mosley's getting older. Quincy Williams probably is more so a sub-package player, although maybe he has Pro Bowl potential, as Connor Hughes said recently. That's how the Jets view him. And I would go linebacker somewhat early. I would probably do it if it was me operating the draft and not listening to the Jets at all. Something I would do is probably around 69, probably because 35-38 would probably be a bit rich. If Chad Muma was there at 69, I may run that pick up to the podium. I just think you need a young, youthful linebacker that'll be ready. Again, he could play, in the linebacking core as a third rotational guy and then kind of take the torch perhaps when C.J. Mosley is ready to give that up. So to me, I think it is super important. I think it's important to kind of build chemistry and get something going, and also seeing problems before they're problems, okay? Making sure you see that, oh boy, maybe we don't need a linebacker right now, which by the way, I think they do, but we're going to really need it next year. I think that's how you have to view it. Quincy Williams is entering the last year of his deal. CJ Mosley has kind of a complicated contract, so it's kind of hard to break that down. But again, you need to just see the future, and I think that would be. So taking one in the second round, I think would be rich, because I'm going to assume that there's a typo here. So I'm going to assume that's what you mean. Second round, which again, if you're thinking second round, could be Christian Harris out of Alabama. It could potentially decide to go in that direction. Maybe you get aggressive and you move up for Nakobe Dean. Maybe you move up for a Devin Lloyd. There's a lot of potential there. Hey, Mitch, thanks for the support, baby. I love it. Okay, wow, just like that, another super chat. Again, people, keep those super chats coming, baby. Show support for the channel. So, baboomshka. And we got Jared Helmuth, a big-time fan of the channel here. Do you think these high wide receiver contracts will force more teams to draft rookie wide receivers early? And also, did you see Chris Sims' wide receiver rankings? Keep up the great work, Jared. Thanks for the super chat, baby. You're one of the best in the business. I love getting these wonderful commenters. We got a great community here on the channel. And again, everybody, thumbs up, hit subscribe. Do I think these high wide receiver contracts will force more teams to draft rookie wide receivers early? Yes. I think, quite frankly, to be honest with you, I think the Chiefs, and this is really what happened, they were painfully aware how much money Tyreek Hill wanted. They were painfully aware, and they were like, $30 million a year, and he's getting up there. You're like, he's 28, going to be turning 30 soon. Like, they're like, man, if we hit the eject button, okay, someone else is going to give us a bounty of picks, and they did. The Dolphins gave him 1 million picks, and then we just go get our new receiver. Now, trying to replace Tyreek Hill is, I think, going to be quite a challenge. Tyreek Hill is one of the most dangerous playmakers in the entire NFL. So, trying to replace that will be easier said than done. However, I still think teams are going to feel arrogant enough, is probably the word, to say, hey, we can trade away this guy, 1 million picks, don't have to pay him, and then we'll just draft our own guy. The Chiefs are very much a team. I wrote about this possibility for Heavy on Jets. You guys can go check it out. Again, Heavy on Jets on Facebook. Articles, memes, jokes. That's where I write articles every day for the Jets. It's a lot of fun. So you guys can check it out. The Chiefs are a team to sneaky watch to trade up in the first round. Remember, they have 29 and 30 thanks to the Tyreek Hill deal. So they can move up as high as around the 10 range without sacrificing a bunch of future assets to move up to go get the wide receiver of their dreams. So I think that is one of the reasons, quite frankly, they did it. The high wide receiver numbers, they were like, we don't want any part of this. We want to try to, again, especially when you're paying Patrick Mahomes $500 million. I mean, something's got to give there when you're doing that kind of stuff. So the Chris Sims wide receiver rankings, I looked at them earlier this week, but I want to pull them back up and see what they were, because a couple of people were talking about these rankings as, okay, here it is. Oh, I see now. Okay. Yes. I did see them before, but then I had forgotten. But now I have them in front of me. And the big one is this. And boys, we're going to be talking about this. Here's a preview. And I'm glad you brought this up, Jared. Christian Watson, okay, the talented wide receiver in North Dakota State. He is one of the most complicated evals of this draft. And here's why. He looked like a superstar. He had all these breakaway touchdowns, but why did he have those breakaway touchdowns? Level of competition, a lot of busted plays were just wide open. So it's hard to evaluate. Is he just so good that he's annihilating the competition? Again, big fish, small pond. Or is he just that much better than these clowns, but put him in the SEC, put him with other competition, all of a sudden it comes back down to earth? Now, the one thing that would make you feel pretty good about that is, as we'll talk about tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. on my YouTube channel, Mock Draft Monday, when he comes out, okay, John Ledyard will be joining us. We're going to talk about, he was down at the Senior Bowl down in Mobile, Alabama, and his team, Pewter Report, said that Christian Watson looked like the best wide receiver down there in Mobile, and they were blown away. And again, obviously the competition was significantly raised compared to the North Dakota State days. So that's going to be one of the toughest evals. It's because of the competition. It's because of all these other stuff. When you're evaluating his tape, I hear a lot of first-round buzz about him, end of the first round, or maybe one of those teams do, like the Chiefs or something like that, if they don't trade up in the draft. But I just feel like that's a little aggressive. Now, of course, Sims, remember, is on the Zach Wilson train. He had him as his top quarterback, even over Trevor Lawrence. So, I guess we owe Chris Sims something. But as I look at these top 5 wide receivers, again, for those who don't know, here they are in de-escalating order. Drake London, number 5. Treylon Burks, number 4. Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati, number 3. Christian Watson, number 2. Jameson Williams, number 1. I don't think Jameson Williams is crazy because, again, pre-injury, Jameson Williams was considered the top receiver on the board. Drake London, Treylon Burks are routinely in the top 5. But the two that are like, what the heck? Christian Watson, number 2. And again, I can see why. The size, the traits, the love. I could see why he's there. Alec Pierce, that one's a little off the reservation, so to speak. That one I'm kind of like, huh? What does he know that I don't? But you know what? Different strokes, different folks. Everyone has different opinions, so it is what it is. But Jared, great comment. And by the way, everybody, if you'd like to jump in line, make sure, guarantee your question gets answered. You can super chat, throw over a tip, and you get to jump in line, show support for the channel. As I've said before, it's great. Jared, thank you so much. This means the world. I love getting this. This helps us do even more things on the channel, which is really cool. Okay, I'm going to kind of randomly try to jump back in here where I was. Okay, well, back to the comments here. Let's see. And again, guys, wherever you're watching, feel free to drop a comment in there, either super chat like this, where it jumps to line and it's a cool color and I can't miss it. It jumps right in my face. All the other comments kind of blend together here as we're trying to do this. Let's see. Where are we, guys? Let's go to this one. I don't think we even get DK. Why would Seahawks trade him? Again, this is my take on the Seattle thing. They have Drew Lock. Drew Lock, to me, sucks. I think Drew Lock stinks. I think he is just god-awful. I'm just being blunt. Okay, you just traded away Russell Wilson, so obviously you're worse off than you were before, naturally. Okay, already off the get-go. So Seattle could choose, because again, he's so young, 24 years old. They could just pay him crazy money, and maybe by the time you finally turn this thing around in 2 or 3 years, he'll be entering his prime, and you'll be fine. You want to build around players like DK Metcalf. But the other thought is, shoot, we could pay him 25, 30 million a year, which again goes to that other point we just mentioned about the high contract numbers. We could, or we can flip him to some team like the Jets, get the 10th overall pick, and in theory, let's go Seattle, right? They have the 9th and 10th overall pick. Boom, they could get a young quarterback, Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, whoever, and then they could fill probably their edge rusher holes, so Jermaine Johnson, KT if he's still there or something. Like, that would be the intrigue for the Seattle Seahawks, to accelerate the rebuild. A really good wide receiver, if Drew Lock's on his back because of your questionable offensive line, then DK Metcalf ain't going to matter. There's kind of the Jamar Chase argument last year, which, by the way, didn't really work out. Obviously, the Bengals did what they were going to do, although that offensive line was much maligned last year as well. I think that's why Seattle would do it now. Again, why the Tennessee Titans would do it outside of cap, there's no reason. They should pay that guy. A.J. Brown's really good. But Seattle, it's a much clearer picture for me to see why they would trade him, because I think they're on different timelines, baby. DK is ready to win right now, and Seattle clearly is not, at least in my opinion. If they would have traded for, Deshaun Watson, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, hold the horses. Of course you pay DK, but they didn't. They got Drew Lock, and they didn't really do anything else. And maybe they draft a youngster, like I said, Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, or what have you, but, I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Drupa Cabra, number 7. Sims left Elijah Moore out of his top 5 last year. A lot of people hated Elijah Moore. I guess it was size related, from what I understand. And also, he had the weird personality thing for a blip on the bowl game where he did the dog pissing Odell Beckham thing, and that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Kev_Chata, if Boye Mafe or David Ajabo fall to 35, I pick one, giving us 2 edges. I'm all for double dipping on edge. This is the best edge class in a decade. Boye Mafe is one of my personal favorites. I love David Ajabo too. Obviously, he's coming off a ruptured Achilles. So, again, you're basically redshirting this year. Maybe there's an outside chance he can help you at the back end of the year. But, again, you're drafting someone in the first round for the long term, not just the short term. So, that one's a tough one. I love David Ajabo, though. And Boye Mafe is one of my favorite players in the draft. And we bring this up actually in our show tomorrow with John Ledyard. And I ask him, fingers crossed, there's any way Boye Mafe is there at 35? It is a pretty interesting answer. You guys can check that out. Like I said, it comes out on the channel streaming tomorrow at 8 a.m. Let's see. Jay Klein is still not buying the Zach Wilson talk until I see it, which is how everyone should be. You know what? I know we're seeing a lot of Zach Wilson hype right now, which is awesome. I love seeing it. It's better than Zach Wilson doing something stupid out there that he's, supporting his teammates and stuff, and people got to see it. That's fine. I saw Pops last year, and I feel pretty excited about what he's going to be with an improved team around him. Jersey Dude 4680F, I did not see the CBS Sports mock draft. I don't know which one you're referencing because they kind of crank out a lot of them, but I did see the one with the Chiefs trade, and I wrote about that for Heavy on Jets, which was pretty wild. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Joe, I think if the deal is right, we could get DK. I agree. I think so. I think that is the one to get. I think he is the one to get, although there's a lot of buzz about A.J. Brown right now. Steven, welcome to the YouTube channel, baby. What up, peeps? Again, another reminder, everybody, thumbs up on the video, hit subscribe, show your support. Jets game, I'll answer this one. Why would Seahawks keep Locke and trade DK, a younger player? Look at the contracts, pal. DK Metcalf is entering the last year of his deal, so there's minimal contract implications for Seattle's side. They trade him, nothing really happens on their side. You trade Tyler Lockett, you eat like a $40 million dead cap hit. That's why. Yeah, sure, in theory, trade the older guy, keep the younger guy, of course. But you light your cap on fire, and he is like ugly. Like, he's getting paid ridiculous money for like the next 3 or 4 years, and there's multiple dead. Ugh, God. Lockett, solid player, maybe one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL, but God, that contract is disgusting. Disgusting for Seattle to try to get out of it, and disgusting for any team that tries to acquire him, which is bleh, gross. That is not good. Let's see. Sims trying to stand out too much. Kev Chada, perhaps. Let's see. Everybody has a draft pick price except for a handful of players. Trying to skip through here. NFL Chaos. Geno Smith is better than Drew Lock, and I'm serious. I think Geno Smith technically is still a free agent right now, unless that one slipped under the radar. So I hope they bring him back. I love Geno Smith. I love Geno, baby. I got that Geno Smith jersey in the closet, baby. Yes, sir. And I was wearing it, funny enough, when they had the Seattle thing, right? Because we obviously were we as Jets people were very invested with how Seattle was doing. So I was rooting for Geno specifically himself. I didn't want Seattle to win because that's a better pick for the Jets, but I was rooting hard for Geno Smith. I've always loved Geno. Let's see. Go through a couple more of these before we sign off. Where are I trying to get to some of these? Which ones are popping? Let's go to this one. I love when people question me and call me all kinds of things. Worth the fight. Paul, you're delusional if you think Pete Carroll at age 70 is going into the season with Drew Lock as a starting quarterback when he could give up a fourth for Baker Mayfield. Worth the fight. I think I'm delusional that a 70-year-old Pete Carroll hit eject on Russell Wilson. You make that work, okay? You make that work. Oh, that one to me was the stupid part. If we're going to call anything stupid, it's Pete Carroll at 70 doing that. I mean, they asked for Drew Lock. If I'm the Seahawks, I'm like, no, thanks. You can keep Drew Lock. Don't want him. Give me another pick. Yeah, to me, yeah, we'll see. I guess we don't know right now. On April 3rd, his quarterback is Drew Lock. So they're the one that hit the eject button, man. So, and you've mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo here. Why would the 49ers give Jimmy Garoppolo inside division? I don't think they would. So that one's weird to me too. So again, the options start to get limited. Baker Mayfield, the money's crazy. Why would Seattle do that? He would be in the last year of his deal. So if you're trading for him, then you're giving him a big money contract. You're giving that to Baker Mayfield? I don't know. I like Baker personally, but are the Seahawks? Ugh, I don't think so. So I don't know. That one lacks some water to me. Exactly. Then why did they get Lock in a trade then if that's how they feel? So again, guys, I think we got to really look in there. Let's see, a couple final ones. Again, you guys can super chat to get a last second one or two in where you jump to the front of the line here. It jumps through all these comments that I'm seeing. A lot of people arguing in the chat. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, well, I will just do this while we're waiting to see if any final super chat conversations jump in here. Guys, I love doing this. This is fun. This is so cool. Again, my name is Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. We do live streams all the time randomly on the show. So throughout the week when news happens, like this A.J. Brown nugget from earlier today, and of course, every Monday from the past couple weeks through now, okay, from the end of the Jet season through the draft. And that'll even include after the draft because we'll bring on someone to grade it, recap it, and all that. But every week, we do a mock draft Monday on my channel. At 8 a.m. every Monday it drops where we bring on a superstar guest. Look at some of the names, okay? I'm going to flex here for a second. Look at some of the names that have joined us. Damian Woody. Yeah, he's pretty good. Connor Hughes, Connor Rogers, Trevor Sikkema. I mean, Leger Duzable. We've been bringing superstar guests all goddamn year long on this channel. And you may be asking yourself, hey, how the heck is Paul getting these guests? That's because I'm Boy Green, for Pete's sake, people. That's what I do, baby. I bring the energy and I bring the superstar guests. That kind of combination, I bring the energy, and I love doing this with you guys. So again, check out all the past videos. Again, they're all saved in the playlist Path to the 2022 NFL Draft. You can also check out some of the ones from last year where we had guys like Charles Davis, one of the best in the business on the show, and so many others. So it's a lot of fun. Feel free to check it out. Like I said, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., John Ledyard drops on the channel. Make sure you guys check it out. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chats. And again, if you're watching this either live now or later, make sure you hit thumbs up on YouTube, please. So cool. And subscribe. Like I said, we're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the 2022 NFL Draft. Thanks, everybody. We will see